Welcome.
Whoa, hold on. Okay, quick, stop the skit. Listen, this Saturday, June 15th, I'm doing a 24-hour stream for my birthday at twitch.tv/mbtygo. I hope to see you there. We're going to play a lot of games that you have asked me to play over the years, and most of it's going to be Yu-Gi-Oh! Sorry, we don't have time for a skit. Let's go to the video. Hey everybody, Joseph Rothschild here, aka MBT, back again with another episode of 10-Minute Testing. Today, at the behest of my viewers, I once again had to come face to face with my old nemesis, cards with more than 2 lines of text on them. Don't worry, dear viewer, I put in the time and read at least 4 pieces of this archetype before all but net decking a list from the Discord and putting it to the test. Let's see if today's deck is more than a gimmick, presenting Gimmick Puppets. So here's the list, and there's a striking amount of non-puppets in here. As always, I'll give you a background about the archetype, a little bit of a discussion about what I hope the deck can do, and of course, the card by card. So firstly, for those of you that don't know, Gimmick Puppet is an archetype used by a character in Zexal named Quattro if you're Japanese, and 4 if you're Italian. He's a character who's written like every single other character in Zexal. Long, drawn-out backstory they spend a whole lot of time extending, which results in extremely boring personalities and a deck that does a whole lot of nothing. Gimmick Puppet's gimmick, if you can call it that, has always been level modulation, but only to level 8, where they can access a super suite of exactly 1.5 okay monsters. It joins the lineup of most Yu-Gi-Oh! Decks, insofar as what it does has nothing to do with what it looks like. How are modal monsters like puppets? What do Halloween-ass egg creatures have to do with Xyz summoning? Like most archetypes from Master Rule 3, it completely fell off the face of the earth when Master Rule 4 premiered, forever shattering the psyche of the literal 7 people who still cared about the archetype. Until now. Like any strategy whose one-tricks send enough emails to Konami, it now sports a Link monster alongside a few new pieces of support. Unlike most nostalgia bait, however, these cards are actually good. They enable a concrete linear play, they work with their old game plan instead of supplanting it, and they actually do things the cards look like. Their new Xyz Gigante stall steals opponents' monsters a la Mind Control, certainly puppety enough, while forming a combo with their new Link monster Chimera Doll to poop out rank 8s. Since the aforementioned Link monster isn't completely xenophobic, it requires machine monsters, we can use a multitude of different play starters to minus as little as possible. Finally, the deck has a concrete identity, a feasible goal, and a unique and interesting style of gameplay. Unfortunately, that doesn't answer the most pressing question, is it any good? Of course, that's what we're here to find out. So with that, let's get into the card by card. Firstly, our puppets. Making the cut from 2014, we have 3 Magnet Doll, the inherent special summon, and 3 Dreary Doll, who can special herself from the graveyard. After that is 3 Bisque Doll, which is the most amazing card the deck could have asked for. It specials itself from the hand by discarding a puppet, then can be banished from the graveyard to prevent your puppets from being targeted until the end of the turn. After that is the Joka Baby, which summons a monster from graveyard when normal summoned, can be banished to prevent responses to your dolls, and whose inclusion enables Gigantes. We need as many ways as possible to make the link, so we're on Urgent Schedule and Machinas. We've got 3 Gear Frame, 2 Fortress, which excels at pushing out damage for OTKs, and 1 Cannon, who's a searchable trade-in target and an extra Bisque Tall in a pinch. Finally, we're on Mecha Phantom Beast Tetherwolf, which is Sky Blaster but for machines, and 3 Ash Blossom. For spells, we're on 3 Trade-In, 3 Machine Duplication for Dreary Doll or Terror Baby, 3 Urgent Schedule, 3 Rum Numeron for C Strings, 3 Twin Twister, and a Foolish Burial. In the extra, we're on 2 Sea Puppet, 2 Strings, 1 Giant Grinder, 1 Dingarisu, 1 Exciton Knight, 1 Abyss Dweller, 2 Gigante Stall, 1 Boral Sword, Nightmares Unicorn and Phoenix, and 2 Chimera Doll, which searches, then summons a Gimmick Puppet. So with that, let's jump into the games. Our first match is up against Era Mage, and I have to be honest with you people, despite the fact that you're constantly asking me to review this archetype, I have no idea what the individual cards do. I've played the Duel Links version, maybe it's similar to that. Let's see just what types of boards Era Mage is trying to assemble in the TCG in 2019. Our opponent's going to lead with a copy of Reasoning. They find a copy of Bergamot off the top, which I call incorrectly, of course. Afterwards, they're going to use 1 for 1 in order to fetch a copy of Aroma Jar from deck, then activate the effect of Lone Fire Blossom for a Jasmine before passing it back to us. For turn, we draw a Machine Duplication, and our hand is lit. We'll lead with a copy of Machina Fortress, then reborn the discard target with our Terror Baby before activating Machine Duplication on our Dreary Doll, and link summoning a copy of Chimera. We'll special summon a copy of Terror Baby, go into into strings and put a string counter on everything on the field. To get the string counters off of our side of the field, we're going to go into Gigante stall before activating Numeron Force to bring out Dark Strings. We'll use its effect to deal 2400 to our opponent, bring back Dreary Doll, bring back Machina Fortress, and get in for 3300, a little bit of style, and 25 lethal. Our second match is up against Blackwing Orchest, a deck that I find endlessly entertaining but don't feel like I can examine in any good conscience. After all, Orchest may not be long for this world. Place your bets now, which'll happen first? Joseph Googles what Wise Strix does, or Konami bans every Dark Machine monster in the game. We're going second, and our hand is amazing once again. Our opponent's going to lead with a copy of Ouster and some random Blackwing. To go to Wise Strix, they'll use its effect to get Zephyros, setting up for next turn, but there won't be one if I get my way. We draw Ash as our 6th card, always, before activating Urgent Schedule for a couple of Machinas and going into Chimera Doll. We'll special summon a copy of Dreary Doll before activating Machine Duplication, getting 2 more from deck. That allows us to go into Giant Grinder. Did you forget about this card? We'll destroy our opponent's entire board, then activate Dreary Doll's effect, prompting a Skullmeister from our opponent. Of course, they can't stop the Machina Fortress, nor can they stop the Terror Baby effect, which means we should have more than enough to deal lethal damage with 3k and 25. Alright, so it's time for game 3, and you know what that means, a best of 3 versus meta. We've been very lucky so far, insofar as our opponents haven't set up in any particularly meaningful ways. Unfortunately, our third round opponent is likely to set up ad nauseum, as they are on Orchest. Our hand is pretty good. We have a copy of Ash Blossom and every play starter we could ever want. I just hope that it's enough. Our opponent's going to lead with a copy of Danger Mothman, and what do they discard but Orchest Nightmare? Shoot! Okay, that means we probably have to save the Ash past the point of Mermaid. We're going to use Ash on the grave effect of Orchest Nightmare, and they have Called by the Grave. Okay, this is going to be full combo. Let's sit through it together. They're going to activate Harp to bring out Symbol Skeleton before going into a Rusty Bardiche, activating Symbol Skeleton's effect to bring back Galatea, activating Rusty Bardiche's effect to set a copy of Fogblade, using Galatea's effect to set a copy of Babel, activating Babel, activating Ancient Cloak to get Silent Boots, going into Dingarisu, using Dingarisu's effect, special summoning Silent Boots, going into Galatea number 2, then, wait, activating Fog... What are they? Longarisu? Well, that's new. We're going to lead with a copy of Bisque Doll before special summoning a copy of Magnet. They're going to bring back Dingarisu, wiping our board with Rusty Bardiche's effect as well. That's still fine. We only have to bait out a couple more negations. We'll activate Devil Wolf's effect. It gets negated, and from here we can pop off. We'll go into a copy of Chimera Doll and... Wait, what is he... Oh... That's why they made Longarisu. God, Longarisu doesn't even target. How are we going to beat this? Okay, for game 2, we're still going second. I believe in this deck's ability to crack boards. Unfortunately, my hand doesn't. This is not a great one. However, our opponent's hand isn't particularly good either. I mean, what's the best they're going to do with that? They're going to lead with a copy of Armageddon Knight, sending a copy of... Destrudo? What are they up to? They're going to go into a copy of Cerberus and a Mermaid. That Mermaid's going to get an Orchest Nightmare from deck, followed by a Galatea. The Diver is going to go into a Scared Zone before going into a Bardiche. That Symbol Skeleton is bringing back Galatea before Bardiche sets a copy of Fogblade. I'm not particularly concerned with all these Fogblades because, of course, our Bisque Doll in a pinch can turn them all off. They're going to special summon a Silent Boots and a Wonder Wand for an Orchest Nightmare. This is a lot of material. What on earth are they... Whoa! This is a ton of material! Oh my god. Oh, hey, Ash Blossom. Right on time. Well, let's see if we can crack an Orchestrion. Our opponent's going to activate Fogblade on our Terror Baby, but that's fine. We'll go into a copy of Chimera Doll. That fetches a second Fogblade from our opponent. They're going to pop off a little bit in the graveyard, but we still should be able to do this. We'll bring back a Machina Fortress and go into our second copy of Chimera Doll, activate the effect for Bisque Doll, and go into Dreary Doll. We'll go to Giant Grinder, and we've done it! We have cleared the board! Unfortunately, our opponent's deck is much better than ours, and they're able to reborn all of their monsters from the graveyard. Well, I won't deny my opponent the ability to activate Orchestrion. They've earned it. I have no idea what it does, but I'm sure it's devastating, though I'm not going to sit around to find out. So we're back with the deck, and that was unfortunate, but not completely unexpected. Let's do the pros and the cons. First, the pros. 1. It's fine. The deck is completely fine. It's got a realized game plan and the ability to get to it through hate. It's a discussion of how relevant that game plan is, not how likely it is to land. 2. It does something that other decks don't. Often it's hard to justify a deck since it boils down to less efficient meta, but nothing meta is stealing 2 monsters to make an Xyz. And 3. This might just be the first actually successful nostalgia bait ever. Supplementary cards don't invent a new identity for this archetype, but they help it realize the cohesive whole it was always meant to have. And the cons. 1. The endgame of this strategy is not particularly relevant. The setups do usually lead to a rank 8, even a rank 8 with stolen monsters, but right now many decks just end on monsters without levels, so that's not, particularly exciting. 2. Strings is not a good boss monster. Super Strings is, so maybe we should go up on the rum count, but with only one set, a lot of our lines end with, "and place the string counters." Now we wait. And 3, I don't know, I couldn't come up with a third one. This deck is awesome. All in all, the deck's exceptionally cool, it's interesting, and it's consistent. It may not be good, but it's at least playable enough that it's fun. So that's that. While I appreciate all of my viewers, a special thanks to my patrons, especially Colin Whalen, Michael Salmuir, Ace Enigma, Adam Trevino, Adrian Bra, Distrin, Lucas Geardis, and Second. If you want to see me play the decks I make on this show on stream, I'm on twitch.tv/mdtygo every Monday night from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Otherwise, I'll see you next time.